I was just completing up my recruiting career school, and he came down to South Carolina, gave us a presentation on post. And the one thing that I did know before I knew what the responsibility of being a recruiter entailed, I knew that I wanted to continue on with my education, but the demands of the job didn't allow for the convenience of going to school, sitting down in the classroom, and completing out your degree. So I spoke with Dave. I found out with Post. I didn't throw the two together, and I found out about Post in 2009. And I was talking to David, and I told him what my aspirations were, what I wanted to do. And then he said, well, hey, what if I can show you a way to complete your degree while completing your tour of duty? And I was like, by all means, that is something that I definitely want to do. But question being, how do I do that? Considering the demands of my job required anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day. I was like, I'm not going to have time to sit down in the classroom. He's like, no, well, and this is probably right around the time where distance learning and the platform was really starting to take off, in which speaking with Dave, he helped to get me going with that. I completed my degree back in 2012, got my bachelor's done, came back for my MBA, and a couple of other familiar faces you're probably going to see, because I also met Chris along the way as well. As I was getting ready to pursue my advanced studies, I met Chris when I was getting to the infancy of my MBA degree program, as well as that of my HR certification. And that goes back to the recollection of how it takes a village to really get into the space of achieving your goals, because it really comes down to the point of how bad do you want it. Because a lot of what we do is we want, but we really don't know how to get kick started towards that objective. And for me, it's been nothing but a positive experience all the way out into this space, in which when I was into certain careers, certain positions within my career field, I spread the word of Post, like someone standing on a mountaintop with a megaphone. People are like, hey, I want to go to college. This is what I want to do. I was like, well, what schools have you looked at? What do you think your course of study is going to be? And naturally, not to be biased, but I am an alumni. But I said, I know what worked for me and what was the most convenient way for me to complete my degree, as well as being able to continue to serve and, progress in my career field along the way. So, it's not too often that you really see or hear about enlisted service members of all branches, getting those advanced degrees and getting into that area of, area of study, because normally the job will come first based on the organizational needs and demands. So if you're looking for an institution that's really going to give you that unwavering support with regards to your personal goals, whatever that may look like, you know, um, definitely, definitely Post is a place where you want to be. Like it was so personal to me, like literally, it was so personal to me that wherever I was at for each degree that I completed, I drove to walk across that stage and get my 12 seconds of fame, because it was literally that personal for me. And that came from both my bachelor's, my master's, and even up until the point of my HR certification. So you yourself have to dig in internally and decide, how much does this mean to you, and what do you hope to get out of this. But I will assure you this, no matter where you're going or no matter what you want to do, when you have that drive and you have a unwavering external community, it is literally the sky's the limit. And there is no other way that I could put this into a massive words of not only what Post has done for me, but it's done for my team members, and it's done for my peers, even my superiors, even to the point that I have had my senior enlisted members, sergeant major, colonels, you name it. They were all I've bought. My experience alone was infectious to the point that it made them want to get remotivated to go for whatever their personal goals aligned with. So in the end of it all, just make sure that one, you got the drive and hunger for it. Two, don't worry about the support, because that's unwavering. And then three, when you're done, take the drive or take the flight and go get it. It's the best moments of your life. I assure you that. I assure you that. And now I'm just waiting for this DBA program to kick off because I'm coming back, people. I'm coming
We
back.
want you back.
I cannot.
We want you back in the worst way. That'd be awesome. That'd be really good. Hey, maybe someday to teach, right? Never know.
I would love to teach. I would love to teach because that's one thing. The one thing you can't teach driving, you can't teach passion. But when it's within you, it's within you.
Amen. That's awesome. That is so great. Derek, what a pleasure. Thank you so much. I mean, this was really impactful and great to hear from you and everything. And I'm always a pleasure to see. I haven't talked to you in about a year since the last time you sent me some folks my way after you found out I got back here. So
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be able to link up with you again, my friend. Yeah, you're welcome. So you're welcome to hang out or do what you got to do. We're going to go through this, but if you want to answer questions when if someone asks or whatever, we can direct you if you stay or whatever. It's up to you. If you got time, cool. If not, that's okay.
No, absolutely.
Just didn't want to make you feel like I was kicking you out.
Around. Yeah, because I just know how it felt when especially like if you're first starting out and you kind of feel like you're charting through those if you're going through those unnavigated waters that you're really not sure of. So yeah, I will definitely stick around. So if anyone has any questions about anything or how the process works, I am more than willing to speak with you. So by all means, I'm all about it.
Thank you, Derek. We really appreciate everything. Yeah, and if anyone wants to, reach out, Derek, if you want to, you can put your email address in the chat, whatever. And more than happy to do that. So I want to go through and make
disclaimer though. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Now, if y'all see me step away from the screen, it's because as we talked about, my cat just got neutered. So
don't worry.
He's wearing a cone, so I'm trying to keep him from walking in all over the place. So forgive me for that, y'all. He's he's
that's all right.
A little lethargic from the surgery. So forgive me if I step away, people.
Do your thing. I gotta tell you guys, you see, I decked out my Army shirt, my Army mug. But you know what's funny is I had my cat mug before and I switched out. I'm like, I can't have my cat mug in front of everybody. So I switched my Army mug. If I knew Derek was gonna have his talk about his cat, I would have brought my cat mug tonight. So there you go. All right, great, Derek. Thank you so much, and we'll talk a little bit. If anyone has anything, like I said, he'll put his email address in the chat if anyone wants to link up and ask questions or whatever, or maybe if he has a question, he'll talk in the chat. So I want to go round robin real quick and introduce the staff first and some other important people. So let's start. Actually, let's start by saying hi to Sean since you're on my screen first. Hi, Sean. Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you a little bit about you at Post.
So, as Dave said, my name's Sean. I'm one of the military advisors here at Post. But funny enough, I got my start here at Post back in 2011 when I was a recruiter. Got approached by somebody when I was at
Sean, check your audio. Check your comms, brother.
Can you hear me now?
Nope. Try one more time.
What about now?
Yes, you're good. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
The mute unmute trick worked. So,
nice.
Like I said, my name's Sean. I got my start here at Post University about 2011 when I got approached by somebody at ARC. Got started with Post, picked up 1 degree, turned around a couple of years later, came back for a 2nd degree here at Post. Funny enough, my advisor for the 1st degree ended up being my advisor for the 2nd degree, and now he's my coworker. Anybody that knows Lou Pacelli, that's the guy that kept me going both times. But like I said, I was in the Army at the time. I did 17 years between active duty, guard, and reserve. I've been here at Post for about 2 years. I love what I do here. And it's funny to be able to see the experience from both sides of the house. And knowing both sides of the house, I will tell anyone here, there's not many schools like Post out there that's going to give you the support that Post does. because a lot of people here are either veterans on this team or veteran affiliated. So I think it's really special. Anytime y'all need anything, by all means, give me a call. I'm here to answer questions, just like everybody else. But I'll pass the talking stick on.
Very good. Let's go next to Becky. I see you on the screen next. Go ahead, Becky.
Hi, my name, so everybody calls me Becky. You will see everything that I do says Becky, although if you ask for me, it's Rebecca. And everything. I've been with Post since 2019. Started in admissions and then moved over to advising. I absolutely love it. You know, part of what brought me to Post was my son is in the Army, and he had a lot of difficulties, you know, when he was trying to go to school and with deployments and different things like that. And I don't know, I feel like every time I help a student, I'm helping my son. You know, it's that sort of feeling. We're a family, we help each other, and anything I can do to make things a little bit easier, you know, that's my aim, you know. So, you know, here to help in any way that I can.
Thank you so much, Becky. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. I want to go next to Chris. I see Chris here. Chris, how you doing?
Doing all right. Let's see. Yeah, I wasn't expecting all of this, but I've been with Post since 2006. Prior to all of this great military program that we have. Been with the military team now since 2012 in both the admissions capacity, advising capacity, and now I am the military student agreement processor / services back end of the thing, manager, I guess, if you want to call it that. I take care of all of your degree plans that get, if you need an official copy of your degree plan, that's me. I'm the one who does all that. If y'all have any issues with, you know, like the past year and a half with Army Ignited, you know, that's been me. Jumping through hoops, getting it done. And that's basically where we're at now, waiting for Monday.
There you go.
You know,
Monday's the big start.
Yeah, it's been a great experience working with every branch of service, every, you know, soldier, airman, sailor, everyone. It's been a very great experience for the past 10 years, and you know, that's why I'm here for you guys, every single one of you.
Thank you, Chris. We appreciate you and everything you do and keeping the ship running. Certainly, you're kind of the straw that stirs the drink in the background, to use that old Reggie Jackson phrase I love to use. Let's go next to I see Elizabeth's here. Elizabeth, you want to say hi? Jump on in, Liz, if you want to.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm having some issues with my camera, but I work on the graduate advising team. I've been with the graduate advising team just a couple of terms, but before that I worked with undergrad Baldrige advising team. Welcome to all of you who are new, and I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. And then I have two more very special guests that showed up. Without further ado, I do want to introduce the person that probably started this whole program himself. And I joined shortly thereafter. I was probably like the fourth or fifth person to come through. Ed Lazat, retired Lieutenant Colonel. Ed, you want to say hi to everyone?
Everyone, welcome to Post University. Derek, I remember you well.
What's up, Ed?
How's it going?
Good. Oh my God, look, you haven't aged at all. Have mercy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's been a few years. As Dave said, we started the program with an idea I had back in 2006, and kind of started taking off. and it's been a great ride. And I'm just so happy and proud to be part of this, to continue. It was a way for me as a retiree to be able to give back to service members, veterans, to help them with their educational goals and put together a program that's what we do. There's a total of 63 post-university associates directly assigned to supporting our military student population. That's a pretty large investment, and it's grown over the years. When we first started, it was me, myself, and I. And I didn't like myself and I, so I had to let them go. So it was just me for a while. But what we do every day is for our service members and veterans and their families. We've got a great dedicated team. We work hard to maintain our compliance with everything. We work hard to stay on top of all the changes that are taking place. I heard Chris talk about Army disignited, as sometimes some of us call it. But we're looking for some good things happening here on Monday when the new platform goes live. We've got just, a great bunch of folks that are just all dedicated, from leadership, from John Hawkins, our president, all the way through the organization. There's such a strong commitment to service for our service members. And it's just really great to be part of this. And it's, it's good to see some new folks. Tyrese is our president of our online student government. He is a service member. I think he's at Fort Bragg. Carl Miller will be reaching out to you, Tyrese, here shortly to connect with you. We want to do something with you once you're there you go. So Tyrese has been doing some great work in our online student government. And that's something, one thing that a lot of schools don't really do is provide a pathway for online students to get engaged and involved with the campus, with the entire university. Post-university does that. If you've got the mobile app, check out the mobile app. It'll have a pathway to the virtual campus, all sorts of things that you can get involved with. We have affinity groups for whatever types of things that you want. And the other thing that's pretty cool, I think it's going to be early in the month of September. They are looking at, we actually have the charter waiting. We're just waiting for the actual approval, but a charter for an online American Legion post. So that's a pretty cool thing. And it's open up to not just associates, but faculty member and also our students who want to join an American Legion post and get involved with things in your local community that support veterans' needs, service members' needs, families, and et cetera. So with that, Lieutenant Colonel is going to be quiet now and just listen. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Ed, and what a pleasure it's been working with Ed all the time I've been here. He and I have worked together on and off for, my gosh, it's been 14 years. That's crazy. So incredible. Thank you so much, Ed. I know that you introduced Tyrese. Thank you so much. Tyrese has been kind of checking in on a lot of our workshops we do and been very pleased overall with them. And we're so glad to have him here. He's a great resource and conduit for everything. And I know he's probably real busy right now. Last night or 2 nights ago, I think he joined the workshop, and he was just getting off duty, but he wanted to just stop by and just check it out. And so I know, thank you so much for coming by. But if you want to say a couple of words, Tyrese, up to you, my friend. I'm not gonna put you on the spot if you don't want to.
Yeah, right. Hey, everyone, definitely appreciate it. I try my best. I really do. Definitely a highlight of the team that everyone works with. I appreciate everyone as always. Have to do the whole OSGA thing is, we do have, several different channels within the Post app, dedicated just to military students and stuff like that to be able to connect and share ideas and advice and stuff like that. I think workshops like this really highlight that also as well. So I greatly appreciate this team for putting this together and really highlighting all the hard work that military students have to juggle on the top of, the family life and military life, but also school life, which is a definitely highlight of our life, of course. And that Army Ignited, that transition was really rough. So yes, Disunited,
Still
yes,
is.
I definitely agree. I'm sure we can all agree. Like, I just sent an email not too long ago about, like, look, this is what they're telling me. I'm just but I appreciate this team just tremendously, and all the names I'm seeing is like, oh, I remember talking to you. Oh, I remember talking to you. Just thank you. I appreciate it. And I am literally trying to get out of uniform, so I will be back.
Got you. Very good. No problem. No problem. Thank you, Tyrese. Appreciate it. Yeah, and thank you to everyone here who balances the work life and the struggle with the juggle. For those of you still serving on active duty, thank you for your service to country, everyone who has already. And obviously those of you that are dependents, and you guys all make sacrifices, huge sacrifices as well, when your loved ones are going and deploying and everything, and obviously working in active duty too. And so those of you here, we know what a sacrifice it is to be part of school while you're working in military, or while you have other things going on in your personal life, family life, whatever. I worked in retention with my unit back in, the early 2000s. And then as I transitioned out of service, I went to grad school, completed my education, and I walked in to find an adjunct teaching position. And lo and behold, after I got done with University of Connecticut, Ed saw my application, I think, or someone did, and saw it, sent it to Ed, and he asked if I'd be interested in a job. It sounded good, and that was it. And here we are, left and worked in between at Springfield College, started my doctorate at Northeastern University in Boston, Massachusetts, still not done. I worked as a campus director at the Boston campus in Springfield, and back here at Post afterwards. And Ed and I worked together at Springfield as well for a bit. Now we're back here, and it is such a pleasure to be back here, and of course, working with military students. We're all very passionate working with adult learners as a whole. I am passionate also about working with adult learners and military students, of course, in particular. So we're really happy to be here. So thank you so much, everyone. What we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and we're going to switch over and start the presentation. Before we do that, just a couple of quick administrative things. First of all, if you guys can make sure you keep on mute while we're presenting and save your questions. I'll show you what to do for questions. Two things. First of all, we're going to do you can put your questions in the chat as we go through it. We have a team here to answer them for you. If there is something that we're not able to answer, we'll take note and we'll speak with you offline if it's something that's an ongoing issue or whatever, and work with you if you have any questions. Those of you that want to go ahead and get an instant answer, you can put it right in the chat and someone will answer it for you. If not, you want to wait until the end. I'm going to share my screen real quick and show you the hand raise feature. Whoops, let's pull this up. So if you look up here, those of you that are on your phones, you'll see three little dots somewhere in there. If you click on that, there will be a hand raise feature. Those of you on your laptops, you see reactions here. You click on that and you get the hand raise feature. Once you do that, it will highlight either your video or your avatar, and you'll see the little hand raise go up. I'll answer questions as we go through, and we'll wait till the end to answer those in person. But that is pretty much it. And of course, a last administrative item I like to talk about every time I do a presentation from home is my dogs are out of control, so they might start barking, and sure enough, right on cue they have. So I apologize in advance for that. I know a lot of you guys have dogs and children and pets and cats and everything. Don't be afraid if that happens. No shame in our game here. So hopefully they calm down in a few minutes. All right, so now we're going to do the presentation. Give me 1 second just to get set up. I'll share my screen. And okay. All right, so back to this. We went to Derek already. Okay, so we did the introductions. We're moving right along. Great. Okay, so those of you that are new here, welcome. Those of you that are still here or have been here for a while now, this is something that will still benefit you, including those of you that haven't been here in a little bit. We got a lot to go over, and I think a lot that's going to be impactful to you. So stay tuned. For your courses, what can you expect? You can expect them to be rigorous and challenging. Obviously, there's flexibility in your classes. There's different, different nuances between courses and programs, etc. But you can certainly expect a challenge with them. And there's some variance in between different courses, different levels. So much like any school you've attended, expect to spend at least 8 to 12 hours per week per class. Now, this number is an estimate, okay? I only say this because this is, it's going to vary between every learner and who you are. You might take longer than this, it might take less than this, but I'm just setting an expectation for you that at least at first, those of you who are relatively new, you can expect to spend this time per week with your classes. And if you think about it and you add it together, if you're taking 2 courses, just consider it like you're working a part-time job in terms of the time you're taking up per week. So just keep that in mind while you're doing your work. Again, there's variance between each course and each learner, so it's hard to get a number, but I would say that's a pretty safe bet to start there. And then if you're able to handle less or you need more, you work your way around that. For research skills, we obviously focus on that here in writing skills. For research skills, you want to make sure you're using appropriate sources for your work, citations. I'll put a little plug in here right now, but we'll talk about it. You'll see some messaging coming from through your text messages and emails in the coming weeks, but we will be doing some workshops on library, APA writing style, all that good stuff. We will have some workshops on that. But for now, you need to know that you should use appropriate sources. We do have some guides for that. I'll show you what that looks like. And of course, as much as possible, avoid opinions and personal experience unless you're asked in a course. So if somebody asks, what do you think about this? Then, you know, that's clearly, that's an indicator that you might not need to do any hard research. But if somebody's asking you to present your factual evidence on something, you may need to do some research. So just be prepared for that. Each class and professor will be a different experience. By and large, post-university faculty, I think we have a couple on this call right now, are very flexible usually. There's some flexibility. If you guys have some challenges, there's usually, I would say 9 times out of 10, your faculty are willing to work with you. So if you have any concerns that crop up, you have a sudden transfer somewhere that just need, you have to move between, let's say you thought you were in one location, you're going to another location a couple states away, you end up losing a day of work and you might submit something late. Let your faculty know they'll be flexible. So by and large, there's some give there from faculty as far as your experience and what might be going on with you. So something to remember. Okay, now this is exciting. There is a new version of Blackboard. Those of you that have been here before, you are seeing a new Blackboard when you log into your classes next week. And those of you that haven't been here before, if you've used Blackboard elsewhere or any learning management system, Blackboard operates fairly much the same as those. We're going to show you some cool new features of Blackboard. And next week, again, to put a little plug in there, I will be reviewing logging into your classes and participating in your classes next week for anyone that needs help with that. So we will have workshops going on about that throughout the next week, week and a half or so after start of class. So right through Tuesday night from the start of class on Monday. So Monday through next Tuesday. So we'll show you some of the new features with, let's see, so some new features with Blackboard. Let me just make sure I have audio on this, although it's not really necessary. I think we got it. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you guys can all hear this.
Yeah, Dave, there's no audio to it. You'll have to share your audio, boss.
You can't hear it, Sean? Sean, can you hear it?
No, we can't hear it.
No, not at all.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Let me try one more time here. Hold on. Sorry. Hopefully it picks up now. Give me 1 second.
You got to unshare and then reshare.
Yeah, I think I have. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Thank you. I forgot to do that before I did it. Let me go in. Give me 1 second. Share. We'll get it up and running, guys. I'm so sorry. Whoops. Stop. All right. Where is it? Hold on. There we go. Okay. Sorry, guys. How's this?
Blackboard is getting
We
an
can
update.
hear it.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
On August 23rd,
Sorry.
2022, you'll notice some visual changes to the Blackboard homepage. The new homepage is intuitive, fluid, simple, and fun to use. Upon logging in, you'll find yourself on the activity stream. The activity stream is an organized list of everything that's happened in your courses. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a new navigation menu. You can access the institution page, your profile, the activity stream, your grades, your courses, and more here. Let's check out a few of these pages. Starting with the institution page, this is where you can find anything post-university. You can access your student resources, which include access to the different support services. You can view the academic policies and procedures, or learn how to become active with your classmates on social media. Next, let's check out the student profile page. On the student profile page, you can update any information regarding your personal profile. You can also upload a photo by clicking on the person icon at the top. Now, you can also review your grades directly from the new Blackboard homepage. On the grades page, you'll be able to see your cumulative grade for your courses. To view additional notes regarding assignments, click on the course. Once you're in the course gradebook, you can review any notes left by your professor. To head back to the homepage, click on the X in the top left corner. Finally, let's take a look at your courses. On the course screen, you'll find any course that you're registered in or may have previously taken. Once you click on your course, you'll be brought into the traditional course announcement screen and can navigate your course from there. Welcome to the new Blackboard experience. Thanks for watching.
Okay. All right, moving right along. So next part, we're going to just talk briefly about military finance and what that encompasses. So those of you that are brand new here, those of you that have been here a while, you know, obviously that military, you have several methods of payment for classes. Just going to review a couple of the overarching ones. Tuition assistance for those of you on active duty military still serving is available to you. We have the GI Bill that is available to active military veterans. Active military can use it in certain circumstances if they've expended their TA, or and then GI Bill also obviously used for veterans as well. And depending on the chapter, may also be able to use it for your spouse's dependents, etc. Cash payment and other, obviously we will take cash, and some cases, some of our students here have organizations that may pay them back for classes if they're taking them. Student loans, obviously another option, and financial aid, of course, kind of tied into that as well. So you guys know you have all kinds of payment options here. One thing we can mention all across the board is, this is very important, this first part, especially with all the ongoing changes with tuition assistance, in particular on the Army side. Be prompt with securing your payment. Can't stress this enough. Make sure that you secure your tuition assistance. For those of you using it, make sure you request it as soon as possible. Make sure you are doing your part to secure your payments quickly. If you run out of one way to pay, you may have other methods of payment. So that's something to remember too. Those of you using tuition assistance, you know that it runs out after a certain amount of time. It may not cover you for the whole year. So if that's the case, you can obviously use any other payment method as well. Speak to your finance team here, our wonderful finance team, to confirm your payment is secured. And of course, those of you on active duty, make sure you are in touch with your assigned educational support specialist with any TA related questions. Very important. And also they will help you make sure that you are secured with your TA if you have any overarching questions. So your educational support specialist, either assigned to the nearest base to you, make sure that they are in touch with you and you're in touch with them to help you with payments. And this is just a little quick screenshot here letting you know about the tuition assistance and when it becomes available each term for each service branch, and also when the last day to the deadline for securing it. So we have it built out really for the next well, more than a year, I think. And so that will help you get an idea of what we have and when it's available to you. So, and by the way, just a reminder, I am recording this workshop, so you will have all this information available to you after after we're done tonight. We'll hopefully have it uploaded tomorrow morning to our workshop page. Time management for military students. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. That was a Benjamin Franklin thing. So if you think about it, military students are always, or actually I should say folks in the military are always encouraged to use good time management. We always are, I was, and I know everybody here probably, if you're successful in the military, has had to use time management in various scenarios and situations to make sure that that you're capable of completing your missions and keeping everyone safe and all that good stuff. But when you throw something in the mix like classwork, all of a sudden that can make it a very difficult equation to put up. So we'll talk a little bit about some things to think about here. First of all, I like to tell people, I used to say that you can approach your unit like it's, you know, basic training, but we know it goes a little bit longer than that, but use that as a framework. Think of each unit for your, or I should say each course, like training that's 8 weeks long. I made a mistake there by saying unit, but your course, or your course is made up of 8 units is what I meant to say there, and the entire course is 8 weeks long. So if you think of it like a training there, it's a good idea to think about reverse planning. I'll talk about that in a minute, but a lot of you are familiar with reverse planning. Keep a calendar. Important to keep a calendar and make sure that you keep it updated. And I don't care if you have if you're someone that likes to use an iPhone or Android calendar on your phone, if you use something like Gmail tied into your Gmail account, you use the Google Calendar, or if you use with your account here at Post, you have the availability of your calendar through Microsoft, which is great, through Office. But also we have calendars now embedded into Blackboard, which is really cool too. They were there before, but now they're more prevalent. So if you look on that ribbon on the left-hand side they showed you in the video, there's a space there for calendar, and you can go through there, which is really cool. I don't care if you do that, or if you do like you got a kitten calendar for the year, like myself or Derek may have on a refrigerator, and you like to write stuff in there on an old school calendar, a big desk calendar or something like that. Whatever you do, it's got to work for you. So use what's important, what works best for you when you're planning your calendar. Planning your week out is critical. A lot of you guys know everything we do in life pretty much runs by the week. Your kids go to school, they have a week of classes, you got a week of work, and then you have the weekend typically for most jobs. And it's how we run things. So if you can get good at mastering your week, the school week starts on Monday morning and ends Sunday night. So you have all that time to be able to, that's really your window to do your work and to live your life. So if you can plan week to week, you will have a good chance of success here. Think about reverse planning for larger assignments. A lot of times you will have a paper due at the end of the term for some of your classes, and you might be prone to just say, you know what, this is great. I'm going to put the date in my calendar. I know that class ends on October 22nd or whatever, and I have a paper due on October 15th for the term. So I'm just going to put that date in there. I've done my job. I know when the paper's due and I'm good. No, you haven't. You got to think about reverse planning for larger assignments, because it's important to remember that you also have to you got to think of a topic for the paper. You have to do an outline for the paper. You have to do research. You've got to write drafts. So it's important to put those in your calendar as well. Plan out when each of those are done. Have some benchmarks along the way for you to reach. That way you know you're on point and successful. And of course, if needed, and this is something very important to talk about, especially newer students that haven't really gotten their rhythm yet, had their cadence, or anything like that. You're still kind of feeling it out and getting used to things. If you feel like it's too much, be prepared to attend classes part-time rather than taking a time off altogether. If you are trying to, I don't want to say be a hero, but if you're trying to just go ahead and run through with full-time classes and it's a struggle for you, then you may want to think about attending part-time. Don't try and run through everything and work too much if you don't have to. You want to start off classes full-time if that's more comfortable for you, and then build yourself up. That's great. If you have a lot going on in your life and you're barely getting, C's to get by in your classes, maybe you need to look at part-time. Maybe that's the big challenge. And another thing too is we have a lot of students here who like to go full-time use up their tuition assistance, and then they'll sit out for a couple of terms when it's done. And then they'll say, I'll come back in, when I get the new federal fiscal year funding. That's not the most efficient way to do things, because what you're doing is every time you stop out, it gets harder and harder to get back in the rhythm again. So it's like you have to start all over again after, people are going to have, training sessions. People are going to have family things. They have to step out for a term here and there. That's life, right? But if you're able to, you should keep going throughout if you can. And you really should avoid taking more than one term off at a time, because then it gets so much harder to get back. So rather than stop out altogether, try and keep going part-time. It's my little piece of advice. What if a sudden training deployment emergency happens? This is something critical to start thinking about. The first thing you want to do, and Ed, I know you may want to chime in on this, and I'll give you a second too if you're still here. Contact your professor immediately. It's so important to do that. Your professor, like I said before in the first slide, will understand if there's some challenges. If you got military duty or whatever, they're usually going to be very quick to say, okay, I understand, we'll figure it out. Contact your advisor also and let them know and make them aware of it, and give them, the ability to help you out and to be supportive of you. A lot of times, if you're unable to contact the professor, keep in mind a lot of our professors and faculty have full-time jobs themselves and they're adjuncts, so they may not be able to answer as quickly as you might need. But if you need someone quick, you can always contact the advising department or your advisor personally and let them know, and we can help you out making a connection for you if needed. Ed, do you have anything you want to add on that if you're still here?
Yep. I was going to say what Dave said is, as soon as you know about anything that's going to get in the way of your studies. I teach in our EMH program. I had 5 soldiers, all who ended up getting HAYU'd at the last minute for various training things. We're coming to the end of the federal fiscal year. Got to use those training dollars. School seats would get lost, so they all got HAYU'd. And so as soon as they found out about it, they let me know. They let their advisor know. We worked things out, provided extensions for assignments and whatnot. So you can do that. And just basically, it's really just communicate as quickly as possible, and keep your academic success counselor apprised all the way. They are your biggest advocates for helping you get through any type of problem. So.
Yep. Amen. Thank you, Ed. Very impactful there. Absolutely. Another thing you should do right away is assess the situation. Think about where you're at. Your time, where is your time allotted over the course of whatever's happening in your life? And by the way, we're not just talking about deployments or trainings. We're talking about things like a family emergency, a medical emergency, anything like that too. How much time is that eating up out of your current schedule? Will it need to drain, or will it be draining much of your focus, or is it something that's, causing a little bit of a hiccup along the way that you can get back on track fairly quickly? Do you need to look at some type of strategy for that and how you can overcome it? And then a lot of times people are pulled away for sudden training, as Ed mentioned, and they may be out of the, or I should say in the woods or somewhere where they're unable to get technology readily available, even in this age of smartphones and Wi-Fi and stuff, and you never know. So hotspots and everything. So if that's a problem, you may want to think about that too, and just say, hey, is this something where I'm going to be able to keep technology going? If you have something happening, the first thing you should do that's going to pull you away from classes for a little bit, make sure that you keep documentation handy, because you might need to petition the course later. Keep your orders on hand. Keep medical paper trail, travel receipts if you have to go somewhere for an emergency, things like that. Think about keeping that on hand if we need to provide documentation at a later time. And keep in mind that your first inclination doesn't necessarily have to be that you have to leave class, okay? We may be able to work something out for you. There's some tools we have at your disposal that your faculty and or your advisor can work with you with, as Ed mentioned. So keep that in mind. We have a great team here willing to help you, and we have a great school here fully committed to supporting our military students. To that endeavor, let's talk a little bit about our support team. So here's some, obviously we talked about advising, we talked about finance and faculty. I want to mention a couple other areas too. They're very important. On the upper left here, you see library. At the at the 1100 hour slot thereabouts, or 1000 or whatever on the clock. The library is something that you can really use as a student to enhance your research. It is the best tool out there, I fully believe, is using our online library. Yes, you can, you can use, some people have heard of Google Scholars and like to go to Google Scholars because it's familiar to them, but I will tell you that you have that sometimes you may have to pay for some sites that could be very good for you to use. In the library, it's all free and available to you, and you have a wonderful staff at the library who can help you out with that. You also have on the bottom right here at the you have Center for Academic Success. The Center for Academic Success is a wonderful part of the school that we have available to you to help you out if you start to fall off track a little bit in your courses. They can provide you with academic support through our in specific subject areas, through our tutoring. We have, now that school year is starting up again, we're starting to get filled back up with peer tutors in the next couple of weeks, so you should see more availability for them to help you out. We also have, when the center is not operating, we do have 24/7 service for you through TutorMe, which is available in the Center for Academic Success as well. That can help you with some of your coursework too. They also can help you with time management and writing skills and so much more. So definitely, if you're having any trouble, feel free to reach out to the Center for Academic Success, or the first thing you should do is reach out to your advisor. You see us at the top there. Make sure you reach out to your advisor because they can help you access and give you some ideas in terms of what might be the best for you for the center. And then at the bottom here, I want to talk about SOAR. We'll discuss that in a minute too. So we'll go through actually, I kind of skipped ahead here. I want to go to SOAR. I kind of gave you already an idea of what was in the Center for Academic Success. And I gave you an idea of Traorg Library, but I do want to mention Student Online Assistance Resource, or SOAR. Basically, they're our support service for students. They offer all kinds of cool support for you in terms of things that you may need personally. So there's counseling available there. There's legal service available on there. There's all kinds of cool tools that you have at your disposal if you need something that some support above and beyond what your academic needs. So this is a value-added benefit for those of you that are outside of CONUS or obviously being online. You have availability to this regardless of where you are. Pretty cool too. It's available to your families as well. And your assistance is available for the most part 24/7. So if you're late at night or early in the morning, you need some help, someone to call and talk to or whatever, these services for the most part are available any time of day. So feel free to reach out to their website, check them out here at Post University. Now, the most important part, the objective, is degree completion. By perseverance, study, and eternal desire, any man can become great, or woman. That is General Patton, of course. We've all heard of him and know him. So what makes up your degree? There's obviously a few different parts. You have your transfer credits. You have your military credits from your JSTs, any military training you've had, and credits in residence. One very important thing I want to talk about with your military credits, which we're going to go over right here, keep your advisor apprised, for those of you still serving, of any updates in rank or training or schooling as soon as possible. Your academic advisor will work with you, and they will kind of be your guide. So as soon as you know that you're going to be taking a training from this period to this period, or you have any additional, anything coming to you through promotion, let us know so we can work on getting that, on making sure we have that paperwork lined up. And then also that way your advisor won't register you for a class you might eventually get credit for. So that's part of the collaboration with your advisor, is if you think there's something down the road you may be getting credit for, let us know. Avoid stop outs as much as possible. One of the things your advisor will be talking to you about, if they haven't already, those of you that have been here a while, or new students, is the importance of when you are scheduled to complete your degree. This is something that to really help you realize your goals and work towards your completion of your degree. We're going to kind of verify for you when your degree will be completed. That's gonna be a big part of our team and what we're doing. So it's very important that you know that the date we have for you in terms of when you're scheduled to graduate will only deviate if you don't take classes at the pace you're taking them, or if for some reason or another you have to stop out here and there. So it's important to remember, avoid them as much as possible. Obviously, you may need to take a term off here and there for whatever reason, but try not to stop out for any large periods of time. If you are having challenges along the way, as we mentioned before, seek help from your advisor or support services, and take advantage of military education benefits while you have them. If you are coming up on retirement and you are no longer going to be in the service, or you're end of time in service, why not use all the TA you can by that point in time, and make sure that you use that, so that maybe, you know, if you have the post 9/11 GI eligibility, you may want to think of transferring all of that off to one of your children, or, you know, whatever. And that becomes, you know, something to leverage your benefits. So if you think about that, it's important to kind of plan ahead when you're looking at the remainder of your career, the remainder of your eligibility, and think about using the benefits while you have them. So try and use that to take advantage of everything. Remember, you know, it's not a quickly ticking clock, but there's always a clock on a lot of these benefits that you have to think about when they're on the military side. Okay. I did a lot of talking. I need a couple sips of water, just clear my throat. I tried to take them here and there, but thank you all. Hope this was impactful for you. And now, most importantly, is our question and answer session. So I'm going to keep this going through the recording, and we'll make sure we have that on there too if anyone has any questions. So go ahead, feel free to ask away, guys. Now is your opportunity. You can either ask in the chat, or you can raise your hand to ask questions to everyone. Okay, Josh, welcome. How you doing tonight?
Hey, Dave, I'm doing pretty great. I've had
Great.
connectivity issues, and
Okay.
you said something about I was going to be able to 24 hours or see the video. Where would I find it at?
So let me drop that in the chat right now. I can't. So this is the first, just full disclosure. When we first started doing this, we had put videos through Teams. I'm going to give a shout out to the grad team and Liz and your colleague Alan, who did a wonderful job and has done a wonderful job of presenting grad student workshops throughout the term. We do these workshops on a fairly regular basis, but when we do, we have them on a playlist. So on YouTube, on our YouTube page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that up for you guys, and you can start, by the way, looking at these workshops on here. They're already in here. I'm working slowly, very slowly, because I got a lot going on right now, but I'm working slowly on trying to get these workshops on here redone so that they're not, you know, like a larger format workshop like this. They are a little different, and they're just going to be me or someone else reading off what's happening. But I'm going to put it in the chat for you right now so you can see it, and you guys can start accessing these workshops. There's all kinds of stuff on here. There's APA writing style. There's what else? Time management. So these are all on here, so you guys can go in here. But to answer your question, Josh, they'll be on here hopefully tomorrow if I figure out how to download Teams, and I think it's pretty easy. I'll be able to upload it on the YouTube page, and we'll take it from there. Sound good? Okay.
Sounds
Sean,
great.
I see you're great. Yeah, no problem, my friend. Thank you. Sean, before I see your hand raised, before I go to you for whatever you want to, unless you want to interject something with that.
No, I'll make a comment up on the backside.
Got you. Yes. Okay, cool. I'm going to answer, because Tyrese's question is very important. So Greg, you're up next, but let me answer Tyrese's question first in the chat. All military affiliated students are given a military specific advisor. Yes, that's correct. The only ones that aren't are grad students. Our grad students have military students assigned to them, but they also work with a larger population of students as well. So just a heads up there. But yeah, that's on the grad side, but every student who comes through who is affiliated with the military, whether dependent or active duty or veteran, regardless of service branch or anything like that, is assigned to a to a military specific person. Okay, so let's go to Greg. You're up. How you doing tonight?
Hey, David, how you doing today?
Good, thank you. Great.
Hey, I got a pretty quick and simple question. I'm new to Post University, so my only question is that as far as the classes go, are there going to be classes where we'll be in front of a camera, in front of a professor, or is it kind of like something that'll just be uploaded and we just do it at our own pace?
Excellent question. So, and Alyssa, I see you in the chat. I'll get to you in a minute, but I see you raise your hand too, so we're good. I'll make sure I answer you next. Thank you. This is a great question, so I'll talk about this real quick. The courses are asynchronous. So what that means is that you will log in, and the courses will return to wherever you left, or I should say to whatever updated. They won't return to where you left off. They will return with all updates after. So for example, if you're in a class with me and you log off, and in the interim, myself and Sean and Becky and whoever else is here have participated as well and done their discussion board, you're going to log back in and you're going to see their posts in there. So it is interactive in the sense that it's asynchronous and it updates while you're gone. So you can have a threaded discussion with someone in the in your discussion boards and that kind of thing. So to answer your question, it is not something you have to be on any particular time. You're not required to. Part B of this, I am working with the academic program chair for the business department, and they are working on creating synchronous courses for term 4, which starts in January. Synchronous courses are optional. We tried them last year. We ran with them last year. We didn't necessarily do the best job of promoting them we could because it was a relatively new concept, and I don't think we were able to wrap our heads around what we needed to do at the time. So what happened was we decided to give it another try. They are going to have a session, and actually I was going to tell the advising crew this tomorrow, but in a couple of weeks, I would say probably about the 3rd or 4th week of the term, we're going to have a training session on them and let them know. But in those courses, what will happen is they will probably be run through Teams, and you will be able to go in and do like we're doing right now and have an actual class session where you're getting a lecture and you're talking together and you're that kind of thing. So you will have that as an option, though. That is not something we're moving in that direction. But with COVID and everything like that, we obviously had a time where we didn't have students on campus, and students kind of craved what they were looking for, and they said, our on-campus students wanted some type of synchronous format like this. And what's interesting? So did some of our online students. They started asking about it too. And I think because people probably felt really disconnected over the course of the pandemic, and which kind of in a way is still ongoing. But if you think about it, this for many people is an opportunity for them to feel connected to somebody. And I think a lot of people craved that. And that's why we started to get some, some requests for that. So they did it on an experimental basis earlier this year. They're going to do it again for next year too. So in January 2023, stay tuned. That is coming. Okay. Sound good, Greg?
Awesome.
Yeah, no problem.
Good.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Guys, I see some questions in the chat. I think we have advisors answering them, but if not, hang tight. They're going to answer them in a second. I want to make sure I get to the next question coming because we just talked about it from Alyssa. Hi, Alyssa. How are you tonight?
Hey, good evening. I'm doing well, and yourself?
Good evening. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So, my question is, since I'm fairly new with the military, and also I'm fairly new with going back to school because it's been a few years since I been in a college campus, also
Right.
and taking courses. So yeah, I was asking about the financial aid because I'm not sure. I know everything's been changed over the few years, but I want to know, like, how can I go about trying to get financial aid again?
Sure.
And
Yep.
there's another question I had, but I can't think of it right now. But
That's
probably
okay.
later on. Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
fine.
that was just one
You
of my
can.
questions.
Perfect. Yeah, you don't get a one shot only type thing. So don't worry about it. You can answer. You can ask again if you want to. I'll lower your hand for now. I'll answer that question. You jump back in if you got it. So Sean, were you going to answer? I saw you go off mute. What do you got, Sean?
Actually, yeah, with that. So when it comes to FAFSA, Alyssa, the big thing is that you end up just having to apply. This is something that's done through the Department of Ed. It's not anything that's directed by us here at Post or anything like that for FAFSA.
Yes.
Now, if for some reason you were denied FAFSA, or you may not have military benefits, and you don't necessarily want to take out loans, there's always a multitude of scholarships out there available to active serving military, veterans, spouses, dependents, survivors, all of that good stuff. So I encourage you to look at that as well. Also, the VA has scholarships out there as well. So just a couple options.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. Is there like a specific website, or I just look up scholarships, I'm guessing?
So if you go onto the post.edu website, we do have a specific spot for scholarships. It would be for many military students under additional online scholarships. But I also encourage you to utilize Google. The only thing I will caution you on, if you're using Google for scholarships, and this goes for everybody, if you're looking at scholarships, please go to the people that own the scholarship. Do not trust, joeblows.com, college scholarships, because they may not have all the info.
Yeah, I've seen
Please
that.
be very, very specific.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Does anyone else have their hand raised right now? Let me take a look. Doesn't look like it. Okay, are we caught up in the chat questions? All right.
So I think the only one I'm unsure of is, can military students take out loans while using FTA? I don't know what FTA is.
Tyrese,
Is that the FAFSA?
Federal tuition assistance. So the short answer is, Sean, back me up on this. The short answer to that is yes. I think it depends on what your, it depends on certain things.
Short answer is yes, because FTA, if I'm seeing this correctly, would be tuition assistance.
Yep.
Army, Navy, Marine. You can't use tuition assistance through the branch as well as use FAFSA. There's a lot of students that will run Pell as well as TA. A lot of students will use loans as well, because should you be that student that decides to run 2 per term and you burn through your TA, you still have the ability to use loans or whatever else. Although I would caution anybody against the use of loans unless you absolutely need them. There's a lot of other better revenue sources out there.
100%. Yeah.
So.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that's very important to remember is, this majority of you here that are that have the ability to use, whether through the DoD or the VA, and get funding for those of you didn't know, they actually come from separate pools. So the GI Bill comes from the Veterans Affairs purse, so to speak, and the coffers of the of tuition assistance or come from the coffers of the Department of Defense. So 2 different areas, but if you have those benefits available to you in whatever form or chapter or branch you're in or whatever, you have a unique opportunity there to, to avoid incurring debt, any of that stuff. So my recommendation to you is, if you're going to do a loan, to look at it to, how do I say it? Legitimately look at it to subsidize what you need, and don't try and do more. It's easily, if you don't need to, if you're in a situation where you need a little bit of help with things, that's fine. But as much as possible, don't use don't try and use your loan to pay for a new vehicle or something like that. Be very cautious with student loans. Obviously, there's news the past few days that the president is going to is trying to get the approval for people to take off some of their loans, those that have outstanding loans and meet a certain income. But keep in mind that you have the unique opportunity to avoid a lot of that noise that people have to go through. So just keep that in mind and make sure that you are that you're being responsible if you're going to look to I don't want to say double tip, but you know what I mean. If you're using two separate sources of payment, make sure you're responsible. And our financial aid team will work with you on that to make sure, you know, that what works for you is what we're doing. Sean, go ahead.
Sorry, I know I'm chiming in a lot here on the behalf
Please.
of financial aid.
That's why you're here.
One other thing to be mindful of, if you're using FAFSA, especially Pell Grants and loans, you do have a lifetime limit. Financial aid will go over this with
Yep.
you, but it's
Yep.
not an endless pool. Eventually you will run out. And there's a lot of students, I've got some of them now, that have burned through all of their benefits and they want to go on to their masters and they cannot because there are no other benefits other than paying out of pocket. I would advise anybody lean on the federal government, i.e. FAFSA, as a last, because if you're actively serving, you've got TA, you've got VA, you know, depending on the program you're in, if you're in a CIS, you may be eligible for STEM scholarships through the VA. There's a ton of resources out there, because when you borrow money from Uncle Sam, he's going to want it back with interest.
Amen to that. Okay. Other questions? You got us, guys. We're going to take another 10 minutes or so. While he's still here, if he's still here, I think he is. Derek, I see you're still here. I want to thank you. Do you have anything else you want to add, or does anyone else here on our team have anything else they want to add? Whatever, feel free to speak up.
Nobody else will speak up. I'll speak up again, Dave.
Go.
I speak for all advisors on this one, and I will tell you that if you want to make your advisor very happy, and all serving military, you know, prior service or not, or even family members know this one, better to be proactive than reactive. I know I did 17 years. We all get training schedules. We all know that they're up for adjustment, but for the most part, we know what our training schedule looks like to a rough extent. Start looking at these training schedules as soon as you get your hands on it. Maybe even share it with your advisor, because then between the two of you can start looking at saying, okay, I know I've got for reservists, I know I've got AT coming up in July. I'm gonna be gone for 3 weeks. Maybe that's a time to skip a term to be able to dedicate that time. If you know that you are a high tempo unit, maybe communicate with your leadership and start thinking about that. Start thinking forward, so that way you can lessen those opportunities for the last minute issues, which we know that's going to happen, but you can lessen those opportunities and make things a whole lot easier on everybody. So,
Good way of putting
all right,
it.
I'll shut up now.
It's great. Tyrese has something to say too. I love that, what you put in the chat, and if you want to talk about it, go ahead. But I'll mention it too. You know, backwards planning is, or reverse planning, whatever you want to call it, is absolutely a hallmark of being a successful student. Obviously, many of you in the service use it, and have used it. Those of you that have served, and it's kind of, you know, you see it in the form of like op boards and stuff, and they talk about how you get to the objectives and stuff, and moving through, completing missions. Mission completion is all about backwards planning, and it's very important to remember that. So, Tyrese, if you have anything you want to add, then I'll jump in after that.
Yeah, you know, backwards planning has always helped me throughout all of my courses. Not only working with my section chief, with my Sergeant First Class, of saying, hey, like, this is what I got going on for the term, or what I have going on for the next term and stuff like that. But, you know, including my commander in that discussion has helped me tremendously, because obviously my second chief talks to my first sergeant. He's like, okay, we can work it out. But talking to my commander and like, hey, using that open door policy, which most soldiers are like, nah, I'm not going to talk to the commander. My commander was like, oh, you're in school? Well, how can we help? And it was like a complete 180 from what I thought he was going to say. And he's actually like allowed me to like not so much as get out of training, but take it with other units when I have a really like finals. I had to go do tank rotations one week, and it was the same week as finals. And he was like, "Hey, I know you got finals going on. I paired you up with Bravo Company. You don't have to take it with us. You can take it with another one." And I'm a chief, so you know, being a staff sergeant, being with my soldiers are like number one, but also trying to pass my course is also, you know, paramount. And it hasn't worked every single time, but I don't want it to work every time. But just knowing that I have that ability to work with my, not only my section chief or my commander, but also making sure that I work it out with my academic success counselor, saying, "Hey, look, I had ALC, you know, for which is an entire month." And my academic success counselor was like, "Hey, look, we'll put you in this 306 class instead of that 421 class that you were going to take. And it'll help you out. That way, one, the course load will be a lot less and you'll be able to manage it, or you can just take the term off." I think talking with my academic success counselor and trying to figure out which courses weren't going to be like that heavy load of paperwork, just especially being a psychology major, instead of going the route of recruiting and retention, which the school actually partners with, which gives you a lot more options. I had to take the hard road and working with my academic counselor, saying, "Hey, look, what's going to be the best course for this is what I have to do at this school." You know, obviously they don't know every school that we got going on, and they don't know, you know, some of the other different schools that we have going on, but telling them like, this is what I entail. This is probably like a medium level course, level as far as military course, and kind of giving them that overview. Well, this might be a good term for you to just take off. Okay. Maybe come back in the next term and we'll just count this one out, and stuff like that has really helped me in having that interpersonal relationship with my academic success counselor. Also with, you know, backwards planning is definitely, you know, we all get a course planner of saying, these are the courses you have to take. This is what, in order to graduate. Looking at that, I literally planned out every term for like all the way until graduation. Every so often I go back in there and I'd be like, okay, this might have to change, this might have to change, but pretty much figuring out when I'm going to take the course and what I have going on, and then and planning around that to the maximum extreme. I'm talking like I put everything on my planner, figuring out what I have going on. It's really helped me with figuring out what I will have going on with both military and what I have going on with course load. Has helped me out planning as far ahead as possible. And then when registration comes around, my academic success counselor doesn't even ask me anymore, like, what course are you taking? Because I'll give her the whole year. Hey, this is what I'm planning. And if anything changes, I'm on the phone with her, or I'm via emailing her saying, hey, let's talk on this Thursday. And I know she hates my Thursday meeting, but it's like the only time I have left. And just having that relationship with her and being able to say, hey, these are the courses I'm going to be able to take throughout the year based off of my training schedule. This is how I want to take it in my course load. Some of them are like, you know, like the 306 class. You know, I flip-flop a lot of my courses. If I know I'm gonna have a lot of time, I'll probably take a 421 level class instead of that 306 class, because I'm gonna save that 306 class for when I know I'm gonna have a rotation that I'm going to have to focus on a lot more. And it's just helped me out. As long as it doesn't have a prerequisite, then she's like, hey, I'm all for it. She doesn't make me go in order like my first year. She was like, oh, that was not working out for you. So I definitely have to say all of them will work with you if you have a plan readily available and it doesn't have a prerequisite, that they'll flex around your schedule and really work around making sure that you have the maximum time for your courses. Again, as long as you don't have a prerequisite, because I tried that one time, it didn't work out well. So as long as you don't have a prereq, you're good as far as jumping around, especially for the courses, and it's helped tremendously.
That's a great point, Travis. Great points especially about the prereq part too. I wasn't even considering that. And you know, here's something to think about. Two things. So you're talking about support from your leadership and stuff, and having their buy-in. It's critical. Sean mentioned it there. It's really a great thing. You can use professional development, right? You can look at it, you know, those of you have NCOERs and stuff like that, talking about that and working on your civilian education. What a huge tool that is, because you could talk about, hey, guess what? Maybe you're in line for a promotion, and maybe that bachelor's degree now moves you up in the list, you know, when that comes out. So that's really a good thing to think about. So
I'm sorry, you got me
yes,
on one more
go
thing.
right ahead.
Sorry to interrupt.
Go right ahead.
But yeah, you bring up NCOER. You know, giving my section chief my GPA has helped my NCOER every single time. And additionally, it's helped also with sending them an update of my every 30. Send them in the S1, or if, I mean, obviously for your active duties, they're or if they're active in, you know, sending them a unofficial or official transcript and getting your education plan updated on your ERB has helped me actually land the job I have now, getting promoted. Just every 30, it'll just show that you've progressed every single often. Your S1 will hate you, which is your admin for you Army guys, for I mean, non-Army guys. But every single time I hit 30, I send them an update saying, hey, I need your update. Well, you haven't even graduated. I'm like, nah, I need this updated because it shows up on your ERB, and that helps out with promotion points again.
Yes, it does. That's a great point. That's absolutely correct. You know, yeah, it's absolutely right. As you go up every 30 credits, that's so true. And, you know, I remember back in the day, you know, is anyone here? I don't know if anyone here is old school enough to remember. I was a young private when this happened, but they had the old school correspondence courses and stuff like that. They used to have guys saying, why don't you take some of these, do this and that. I'm like, man, because I spent all my career in the reserves, and any deployments or anything like that or active duty was for training or whatever. And so I only had 2 years on active, but the rest of it was I think 11 years on top of that as reservist. And so I was in, even though I wanted to join the military, I was a big benefit. And the reason why I chose reserves was because I wanted to go to school as a traditional student, and that afforded me the opportunity to do so. So they're talking to me about all this stuff, and I'm like, why am I going to bother doing that? If every 30 credits you add to it and you get all that stuff helps you out. I just kept updating them every 30 credits. And that's what you do. And that will help you. And it will, just like Tyrese said, it's going to show up on your ERB, and that's a good thing. So very, very good point. Excellent point. And hearing it in real time for you as your career is moving forward is impactful, I think, to a lot of people here. And even if you're a veteran here or something like that, it's impactful to you too. So that's really cool. Another quick thought too is it's just it's keeping the end goal in mind of everything is really going to be critical, and thinking about that in terms of you as a student, where your student lifeline is and everything, and also thinking about term to term and reverse planning and how critical that is, and just getting a good glimpse of all that and thinking about touch points along the way with everything. So great stuff. Great question. Great points. Does anyone else have anything else they'd like to share? I want to kind of open the floor up too. We got a couple of our staff left too. See if anyone has anything they want to add, like Chris or Becky or anyone else, or any other questions from students before we close up shop for the night.
You know what? The only thing I would want to say at this point is just, we are here to help. Please reach out to us sooner rather than later. You know, I don't know. It feels like this term, a lot of people, you know, have this feeling that they have to do it on their own. You know, you're not alone. You're supported. You've got a whole team here, whether it's the academic success counselor, the financial aid, you know, whatever. Utilize us. We're here to help. We truly are. And, you know, the sooner you let us know something is going on, the sooner we can develop a plan so that we can, you know, we can help you to be successful, because that's ultimately what we want to do, is help you to be successful.
Great point, Becky. Thank you so much. And, you know, I'll let Chris go next, and then I'll.
Yeah, I just wanted to
mention it.
follow up with what Becky said
Yeah.
too, is that's what we're here for. Especially, some of the operational nuances, if you want to call them that. The sooner especially right now on the Army side, the sooner I know about things, the easier they are to fix. And a lot of them are very easy to fix.
Right.
So please reach out, definitely if you have something pops up, definitely let me know. That's what we're here for. And that's about it.
Yeah. Last message for me is it's a crazy world out there right now. We know that, even though it seems to have slowed down a bit from our perspective, we had a lot of people called up on sudden training missions and deployments and stuff due to situations overseas. That has impacted our students and caused us to, have some terms where we didn't have a lot of students returning because of that. So it seems to have leveled out a bit now, but that may still be a very real problem as situations continue to unfold, overseas in Ukraine. And also, I said it before, I'll say it again. I know that it has not been as big or as much on people's minds, but COVID is still very real and happening. We've had several people from work this week here who have gotten it. Some people had to call out for a few days because of it. I know that a couple of friends and family members from me have had it. So very recently, so it's still ongoing, and it doesn't look like it's going to slow down anytime soon. Hopefully, the veracity of it will, and we'll be able to move on and live and adjust with it. But that's still an issue for people. There's still social injustice issues happening throughout the world, and certainly right here in America, there's all kinds of challenges and problems. Gas prices, inflation, life is happening, right? You guys all have challenges, and oh, by the way, on top of that, your family, your loved ones, and you still are in the service. And those of you that have to juggle all that, keep that in mind and think about, like Becky and Chris said, we are here to support you. And as Tyrese put in the chat here, mission comes first and family always, but school is part of finishing the mission. So if you want to finish, we are here for you, and we're going to help you get to the finish line. Last quick thought is, remember, those of you just starting with us, why you came here. Remember what drove you to come to school, whether it was, putting a good example for your children, whether it was to get a promotion in your military life, or whether you're transitioning to a completely different career field as a veteran, or whether you're a service member, you're a Marine or a sailor or soldier or airman or whoever that is looking to retire from the service soon. And you're like, man, I really want to get my career ready for ready for my second career in retirement. Whatever your reason for coming here is, that's what's going to give you motivation and really just the drive to continue when things get difficult. So if you're thinking, man, I can't handle this, this is too much, talk to your advisor, talk to your faculty. I keep going back to that. Talk to your financial folks if necessary, and remember that reason why you decided to come here in the first place is the reason that will keep you moving and motivated when things get rough. Because I'm not going to lie to you, they will. You're going to have problems here and there. We are going to be fully here to support you along the way. Thank you, Debbie. Good night. Good night, everyone. Everyone have a wonderful evening, and thank you all so much for attending. And we look forward to having you start up with us in another couple of days, August 29th. So Monday rolls around, we're ready to roll. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Thank
okay?
you. Have a good night.
Yep. Bye now.
Have a good night.
Yep. Good night.